Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss Pre-Market Report for April 1st, 2016. This is the first trading day of the new month, the first trading day of the new quarter, and we also have non-farm payrolls coming out in about 50 minutes. So we have a lot of catalysts here to begin the new month and quarter. And obviously what we're looking at in the ES here with regards to the daily chart is how price rallied right into the 2061 HVN, something we've been looking at over the last 6 to 8 weeks. We've been talking about this potential to see a move into the zone. We saw it. We could even see a completion of the move in the 2077s. But what we formed was a two-day range here ahead of the non-farm payrolls. We're seeing a little bit of a push below that two-day range right now, and we're going to watch to see how this thing plays out heading into the NFP number. Obviously, 2000's been a big-time number. 09 also a big pivot as well. Prices generally holding above that zone, but any failure to see acceptance basically above 2050 could open up a return to retest that area and perhaps begin defining some sort of distribution range. And that's what we're looking for, is there some range that's going to form up here where we'll then be seeing some sort of facilitation of trade, some sort of trading range develop around that HVN. So we're going to watch for that. Now, if we take a look at the ES here on an intraday time frame, basically you can see right here, prices kind of sold off through the bottom of the key range. We had a key range from 2047 up to 2064.75 develop. We traded within the middle extremes of that range throughout the rest of that session, and then basically traded within that range throughout the rest of the upcoming day. So we have a two-day range that formed within this key range. Typically speaking, that is enough to build enough energy for some significant expansion. Right now, prices pushed back below the 2047 half previous week's high price, and that's where we're currently trading, just below that zone 2042s. So the failure to hold above 5-day value, the failure to hold above the key range here, this could all be a precursor to a little bit of a pullback ahead. Now, obviously, we have to see what the number holds here, but these key levels right here from 47 to 64.75 give us some key levels to play. Failure to hold above the bottom of the key range 2047s opens up a move back toward 2030 and perhaps even lower. So we'll see how that plays out. Now, taking a look at crude oil here, crude oil's been significant in the way it's been trading around its distributions here, especially with regards to 37.65 up to it as resistance and then through it and as support. Right now, we saw price come into that level, see some initial buying, and again, the current downtrending market continues to be defended by bears. And now you see a push down below 37.65. I mentioned this before. If bulls cannot defend this LVN here, we could be looking at a move back to the previous HVN below at 35.17. So that's going to be important to see if price closes above or below this 37.65 today. The way that it's defending the previous week's low 38.33 from below suggests more weakness ahead, and that could easily push price down into that 35.17. So keep an eye on that looking forward. Looking at the crude oil chart on the intraday time frame, here's the key range we're looking at: 37.57 up to 38.59, the midpoint at 38.08. Prices offered up here near 5-day value, and we're pushing down below the bottom of the range, 37.57. You can see the push down below it here, the retest and defense here, and new lows. That tells you right there that the downtrend should remain intact so long as price remains below the 37.65 level. So right now, given the downtrending price action, if we bring up the bear targets for the day, we've already reached the primary bear target on the day at 37.38. A continuation of the 37.01 could be seen, with a likely push into 36.64 should this continuation remain strong below 37.65. Back above 37.65, rotates back to value at 38.28. Looking at gold now, gold continues to trade within a narrow range over the last few days here. Basically, we've saw the bounce off of the 1208s here. It rallied into our primary bull target at 1247. Once that target was reached, price pulled back and has formed kind of a narrow range here. Again, this is a range heading into non-farm payroll. What we do see is on a month-over-month basis, here's the pivot range for the month of March. Here's the pivot range for the month of April. So price basically closed right at the bottom of the upcoming pivot range, opened slightly below it, and is testing it and defending. So this is going to be important here. I mean, we've had higher value relationships. We have another one now, but price is opening the month below it. That's usually a sign of a rejection and perhaps a push downward. So that's just a little foreshadowing here. 1202.5 is still going to be the big time level since that's composite VPOT. Any failure to hold above that level would open up a return back to lower prices. Right now, bulls want to keep that level bid, but we could come into that level for a defense soon. Lastly, let's take a look at the NQ. Here's the NQ pushing higher. We saw a nice continuation into our primary bull target 45.10 for the week, and since then we've pulled back. We formed a nice 2-day range, and we're testing the lower boundary of that range now. We've had a very nice, significant uptrending market here. Pullback should continue to be defended until proven otherwise. The major level is going to be 43.55 still. Failure to hold that level will open up a wider return back toward previous levels, but holding above that zone still gives a little bit of oomph to the upside ahead, and we'll see what happens should that test come. But for right now, 44.45, 44.41. That's going to be an important zone right there that bulls want to defend right now with the little LVN right here, rather. That LVN wants to be defended for another rise. Failure to hold above that 44.41 opens up a return back lower. So if you look at that on an intraday time frame, that 44.41 is the previous week's high. And so far, price has done a pretty good job after pushing above it to hold above that previous week's high, and you're now coming back toward it. So this is an area where bulls want to keep defended for a return to 4,500. Otherwise, failure to hold that level auctions price all the way back toward the 43.90s. All right, that's it for now. Let's see how this thing plays out heading into the rest of the session. Quick note, for anybody who wants to join me at the close, 3 p.m. Central, I will be doing a PivotBoss Hangout where we'll talk about opportunities heading into the new month of trading and the new quarter and reviewing some of what we did in the first quarter of 2016. So if you want to join me, it'll be on the Join Me site with the keyword PivotBoss. So join me /PivotBoss, and I'll put that link out on Twitter for you. All right, let's see how this thing plays out the rest of the session. Good luck and trade well.